Our top story this hour. In a first for China, the government has now admitted to the death of a Uighur man whose family believed that he was held in a Xinjiang camp since 2017. The government confirmed the death formally to the United Nations. Abdul Ghaffur Hafiz's disappearance was registered with the United Nations Working Group in April 2019, but the Chinese government didn't respond to the formal inquiries until this month. According to reports by The Guardian, when it did respond, it told the group that the retired driver had died almost 2 years ago of severe pneumonia and tuberculosis. While his daughter has disputed the suggestion that he died of pneumonia and tuberculosis in 2018, the formal acknowledgement of his death is significant for the Uyghur community. Not only is it an extraordinarily rare response from the Chinese government, but it also raises hope for potentially legal recourse. China began persecuting Uyghur Muslims way back in 2014. Details of these detention camps that are masquerading as vocational training centers have come out in the last few years. Currently, more than 1 million Uyghurs are believed to have been detained in these camps. This is seen as one of the biggest crackdowns on ethnic minorities in the world. The Chinese Communist Party has repeatedly refused requests by international bodies to independently visit and investigate the region, despite growing international backlash. And for more on this, political and economic commentator Ainar Zanjin is joining us live from Beijing now. Thank you so much for joining us. How do you assess this confirmation of the death of a Uyghur man to the United Nations?
Well, at this point, everything is relying on a news report that was given by the Guardian newspaper. I have no reason to believe that they would report something false. However, I've combed the Chinese sites, also the UN sites, and there is no confirmation of that so far. So it's very difficult to get an official response to that at this point.
All right. Say that the report is true. As we know, China has been under mounting pressure from international bodies. What do you think this could mean going forward? Do you think an investigation could be likely if these reports are true?
I doubt it. Remember, if this is true, it would be a voluntary report by the Chinese government indicating that this gentleman died of tuberculosis and pneumonia. His daughter disputes that because she believes that his underlying cause was he had an underlying diabetes condition. And she said he would have died of that. Unfortunately, it is true that people with diabetes are more susceptible to diseases, both pneumonia and TB. I should mention that she is the editor of a Uyghur Times. She was named that last year. She's been pursuing this on behalf of her family for quite some time. But this is a publication that also, in essence, advocates for East Turkmenistan, which is basically saying that the Uyghur Xinjiang should be somehow independent. So it might not be in a totally unbiased view. People should keep this in mind as they're looking for it. In terms of the death of this man, if it happened, it's tragic. I hope that the family gets the answers that they need, assuming that this story is true.
All right. That is a very important point that you make there. This has also given hope to the Uyghur community. Some may even say that this could pave the way for a legal recourse. How do you assess that?
It's not clear that that would be a case. It's not. I don't know where they would bring this. She has indicated in her response to the Guardian news article that she thinks that this is the basis for a case. It's just not clear which she would bring the case and on what grounds. She doesn't really have it. She says she wants to produce her evidence, which she says is sketchy at best because she lost contact with him in 2017. It's just where would she bring this case? It's not clear that there's any indication that a crime has been committed. So it would have to be some sort of civil measure. And it's not, given that this is an international, she wouldn't be bringing it in China. I assume that she would be looking for an international venue. In terms of why or if China did this, it's not clear. If there was a inquiry by this group, China takes its its role in the UN very seriously. So this could be a result of that.
All right, Mr. Tandjan, you raised some very important points there. Thank you so much for all your inputs and thank you for your time.